Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And today, as every day, we have 4 brand new Marvel Snap decks for you. Decks that are at the top of the Marvel Snap meta, things that you cannot find anywhere else. We're going to kick it off with Unity's arishem deck. This is an arishem deck that finished at near the top of the Infinite Leaderboard last season. This is a top 30 on the Infinite Leaderboard deck. This is absolutely a contender. It is very, very strong and does an amazing job at countering a lot of the very powerful things that you'll be seeing in the meta. The meta right now is as you get to Infinite, will largely be bounce decks, will largely be a lot of scalers and decks that do things like that. And between Alioth, Shadow King, Shang-Chi, this deck has a lot of answers to that type of deck. Legion helps some too. So you should really give this deck a look if you have not been playing a lot of arishem lately. If you played arishem to success earlier, the deck is very well placed as most of the counters to it have left the Marvel Snap meta. You can find Unity at twitter.com/unity0919. This deck needs Arishem, Blob, Bachburn, and Alioth. That is a reasonably expensive deck, but when Arishem was meta, you very likely picked up several of those cards. If you have those cards, please do give this a try. Nocturne can be Copycat, Gladiator, Cassandra Nova, Cosmo, Luke Cage. Honestly, sort of pick whatever you want. You just want a good 3-drop in that spot. And Legion is really good, but Legion can be Claw. If you're seeing a lot of Scream, if you're fairly high in the getting new card meta and you're seeing a lot of Scream, then you can also make Vision Claw or pick the best 5 as it makes sense to you. This had a top 30 finish on the Infinite Leaderboard last season, and its placement in the metagame has only increased since then with the change of the meta. Generated cards always makes turn-by-turn weird, but you're generally looking to turn 1 Quinjet, turn 2 drop Coulson over Nocturne over Negasonic, then turn 3 you want to play some sort of generated cards or drop Coulson at that point. Turn 4 is Vision or Legion. If Legion wins you the game, if Legion gives you a huge advantage, play Legion. If not, Vision is fine. Turn 5, you want Blob or Mockingbird plus other cards, and then turn 6, you want Alioth or Blob. If you have priority, obviously Alioth to shut down a Shang-Chi, to shut down a Hitmonkey type card is insanely strong. All good? We're going to take one last look at this deck, chat for a moment, and then we're going to do the rank 1 Scream. Scream is a deck at the top of the meta. Who'd have thunk it? Not me. Alright, one last look at this. This is a fairly classic arishem list. Please note this is low-key free. It is instead saying I'm going to counter you and then still have enough power to go over the top of other decks because, well, arishem. Extra energy is good. Please hit that sub button if you're willing. We're trying very hard to get 15,000 subs by the end of the year. We're about 1,000 away at this point, and your help would mean the world in helping us get there. We do 7 days a week of videos with the best decks before anyone else. Help us reach our goals, and we promise to bring you the best Marvel Snap content we can every single day. If you're interested, please do so. Liking and commenting the video also really, really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. It shows it to more people, which then leads to more subs and helps us with that goal. So if you're willing, we'd appreciate it. In addition, we're giving away at least 5 season passes this week. Every single video released this week has 1 season pass attached to it. Sorry, excuse me. Fighting the start of a cold. I'm a teacher, so it's starting to hit me. Every single video has a season pass attached to it. All you have to do is be subbed and like the video. And as you do so, you leave a comment on the video, and your comment on that video is an entry to win the season pass. I'm planning on announcing on it was going to be Friday's video. I don't think it can be Friday's video. I'm going to announce a chunk on Friday's video, and then I'm going to announce another chunk on Sunday's video of season pass winners. So if you're interested in winning that season pass, all you have to do is sub, like, and then comment on this video, and you can get Agent Venom. Later this video, we're going to do some top players that are at the top of the Infinite Leaderboard's impressions on the card Agent Venom. In addition, if you're interested in Pokemon Pocket, the new Marvel Snap-like Pokemon game, please check out our Pokemon Pocket meta channel. It is linked in the description to this video, and you can just type in Pulse Glazer Pokemon to check it out. It's a channel with my son, and he's 8 and adorable and loves Pokemon, and I think it's fun. We're going to make that a more fun channel for now until I gain some expertise on the game, but if you want to have some fun with us while we learn, please check it out. All right, Woody Bounce. Wait, we talked about this yesterday. This is here as a correction. First of all, this is the best deck in Marvel Snap. I got basically comments from every top player today that this is the best deck in Marvel Snap. However, this exact version was not actually created by Woody. It was created by Gnome, gnome__plays on Twitch. Woody is the person I saw playing it. Woody usually creates his own decks first day. Gnome is one of the top bounce players in Marvel Snap. As long as .geo has disappeared, he is probably the top bounce player in Marvel Snap. So this is actually a Gnome Plays build. And when I started making the video, the deck we're going to talk about next was number 1 on the Infinite Leaderboard, but Sizer went and grinded for like a bajillion hours with this deck, and now Sizer is the number 1 player in the Infinite Leaderboard with this deck. If you'd like a full guide for it, please check out yesterday's video where I break this down in great detail. However, number 1 earlier today was this Ekmati Scream 1 deck, and then Ekmati went to sleep and was sort of taken out. But this list is really, really good. This is the best Scream deck I've tried. I spent a good chunk of time today, honestly, mostly in Conquest, so I can get a feel for it because I don't want to tank my pre-infinite stats, trying to learn things. This is the deck that felt the best so far in terms of what we're doing in the Scream package. This one is saying early scalers plus disruption should win games, right? That's fundamentally what this deck is. This gets better use out of Kingpin than I think I've ever felt in a regular deck that's not purely dedicated to things. You're not moving 15 cards, but if you move 2 cards, you've got a 2/10 Scream. Think about how much work you do to get 2/10 out of thena. 2 moves is a 2/10 Scream. You now have 2 giant scalers to go with. You've got the disruption of Stegron, Arrow, Magneto, and you've got Shang to steal cubes and Juggernaut to steal lanes. It's a great, great list. You can find Ekmati at twitter.com/Ekmati. Brazilian player, absolutely stellar. There's like 3 incredible Brazilian players. Shuri Enjoyer, who we'll hear from later in this video. Our friend Avazord, who I got to reach out to, haven't talked to him, and Ekmati are the 3 Brazilian players I know that are all absolutely top Marvel Snap players. This deck needs Kitty, Thena, Scream, and Hope. And I know that's every high series card in the deck. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. You can try without Hope. I wouldn't try with this version without any of the other cards, but if you have Elsa Bloodstone, you could try replacing Hope. The extra Hope energy is really, really good here, though, and I think it would really hurt the consistency of the list, in particular in getting your Thena triggers. So this was only 15 games with an 80% win rate, but I did try this, and that 15 games did take this player at the top of the Infinite Leaderboard to number 1. I then played this and had a ton of success with it. Again, early season conquest, so not guaranteed that this is going to carry on. We're going to talk more. We're going to do our early season top player review of Scream after this, where we'll discuss that further. But I think that this is legit. I think this is the home for Scream, at least until we figure out the right junk show. So turn 1, you want Kitty. Turn 2, Angela over Thena, which is more or less equal to Scream, depending on what else you have in your head. Turn 3 is Hope. If not, you're going to drop a 2+1 for Thena, or Polaris if Scream. Turn 4, Stegron, if you can clog a spot, and sometimes Stegron just gives you an easy spot to clog, do that. Or you can Scream, and that's more or less equal to a 3+1 or a 2+2. Cool. Sorry, you Stegron if you have clog, you can clog or have Scream out. If not, you're going to drop a 3+1 or a 2+2. If you have Kitty and Hope, this is a really great time to play that. If you have Angela and Thena, now you can just drop those 2, etc. Turn 5 is very often your Juggernaut turn. It's not always your Juggernaut turn. Sometimes Juggernaut's your turn 6, but very often I found on turn 5 it's very obvious, if not what, then where they're going to play, and Juggernaut being able to be played then is extraordinarily powerful and sort of messes opponents up very badly. So I urge you to use Juggernaut to sort of make their last turn untenable, get yourself an extra fundamentally 4 power from Screen, and you're usually pretty happy, and that leaves you enough energy to play another 2 if you have the space for it. So you drop a 2 with that, and then you get the Thena trigger as well. So you're getting +6 power on top of the Juggernaut disruption and whatever power that base 2 had. Or you can just drop Stegron and Kitty. Stegron and Kitty is perfectly fine here. Stegron's very good at this point. Again, you're trying to make sure you're triggering Thena. Your 2 scalers are, well, your 3 scalers with Angela, but Angela doesn't require extra stuff, are how you win here. Then we've got Arrow as a perfectly fine play, especially if you don't have Thena out. Arrow is a lot of power, and Arrow can disrupt what your opponent's going to do. Again, your opponent's not always expecting a clog this late from this type of deck, and you can really mess up their play. Finally, we have Magneto or Arrow +1, or Juggernaut and Shang after Hope to end the game, and that's how you win with this. I found playing against decks like this in particular is very mentally taxing. It's fairly straightforward when you're the player of it, but to play against it, I think, is fairly mentally taxing because you have to constantly reevaluate your plans and placements, and that leads to making mistakes, and mistakes lead to extra cubes for the person playing this deck. We're going to talk about the Agent Venom after this to counter Agent Venom bounce. One last look at this list, which is absolutely stellar. Again, I urge you to check it out. It's very strong. It's very consistent. It's very fun. The Thena package is much slept on at this point. Scream really, really fits well. You've got 3 early scalers here, 3 like powerful early scalers. And then you've got cards like Kingpin and Kitty that really benefit in helping those out. All right, top player impressions for Scream. So Derek, the #1 player in both August and September, props to Derek, says, good card without enough support for what she does. She's poorly placed in the meta. So the lack of support, I think, is interesting. You just want good power support that you would run anyway. When you're playing Scream, the support you're running is very often support you're running specifically for Scream. I see that as a serious problem, but one that might be able to overcome by considering this a package card instead of a full deck. Because again, 2 moves makes this a 2/10. Sizer says doesn't feel competitive yet. Good in a bad archetype. In Clog, it loses the mirror. I'm convinced that Clog deck exists. We just haven't actually found it yet. I think Husky is working on it, but I have not actually heard from Husky. He didn't stream today. Ika says powerful, but yet to find a good home. And at this point, we should be starting to sense a pattern. Ekmati, however, the person who created the deck we just talked about, says the results in the classic Thena mid-range package are pretty good, which I think is important to note. No one had the Ekmati list but me at the point that these conversations were asked. Let's see how this Ekmati does when it hits the wider meta and see if this can be a thing. Big Baby agrees, however, that it is fine but not good into the meta. Sherry Enjoyer says I like Scream, but her decks rely too much on draw. Sherry Enjoyer was also on a call with Ekmati when he played this list, which makes it worth noting that Sherry Enjoyer did see this list that before deciding this. So this list won a lot for Ekmati, but a lot of that, according to Sherry Enjoyer, was based on the draw. That will need a larger sample to know for sure. Aoi says Scream is fresh deck, so I like it, which I think is a really important note. A lot of cards just sort of get shoved into the random good card shell. Scream lets you play cards you would not otherwise play. That is definitely upside. Nithial, however, goes back to the good but no archetype, while R.S. Berry says a big 2-drop that requires you to run bad cards. I don't agree with R.S. Berry here. I think Polaris is a good card. He's going to comment on this, by the way. Hi, R.S. Berry. I think Polaris is a good card, and Polaris is severely underplayed, and this gives a home. I think Juggernaut is a good card that sees play. Cannonball is a good card that sees play. Again, I think that we're doing it wrong by trying to go for too many triggers, which I think Butt fundamentally agrees with from our chat. Cool and feels fine. I think this is a card that will find a home eventually. This doesn't feel entirely unlike Ajax, entirely unlike Cannonball to me. I don't think it's going to be that good, but it doesn't feel that dissimilar to me. I'm leaning toward a no. I won't know until I break down some stats tomorrow for what my recommendation is actually going to be, but I'm leaning toward a no on Scream, but I can see myself changing my mind by Monday when we get a full weekend of weekend missions and people really dig into this card. There's a lot of potential here, and the deck that doesn't work is close. Hey, there's also a bundle out today. It's called the Eldritch Swordsman. You might note 172% value is what we're looking for in cash bundles, and we're looking for 110-ish, 115-ish in our gold bundles. This is a 64% value. That is unacceptably bad. There is, however, a caveat to this bundle. If you don't have Black Knight, this all of a sudden shoots up to an excellent bundle. If you are getting a Series 5 card out of this with your 4,000 credits, this bundle is great. If you're getting 4,000 credits for 5,000 gold and a variant, and you already have the card, this is one of the worst bundles ever. Get it if you need Black Knight, and want Black Knight. If you don't need or want Black Knight, for the love of everything holy, skip this. It is a terrible bundle. The Eldritch Swordsman is great to give you a card. You are fundamentally spending 5,000 gold for a card and some extra credits. Cool? Cool. If you'd like to see some gameplay from these decks today, please check out the stream team. Today is Thursday, and today is the first King of Canada stream on a Thursday. So King of Canada used to be our Sunday streamer. He is now our Thursday stream, so please check him out. Also worth noting, around the time this video goes live, GamingwithFlashX will have a video up of yesterday's decks, including that bounce deck. He hates bounce, and it's amazing that he randomly keeps getting the bounce day. So please check it out. I think you'll enjoy. All right, our friend Ika, one of the best deck builders in all of Marvel Snap, top 100 level player, built this deck to counter all the bounce. Bounce is meta. Bounce is everywhere. Bounce is the deck. You'll hear more about bounce You saw the deck at the start of the video, and you'll hear more about it when we get to the Agent Venom right after this. The Agent Venom top player thoughts right after this. But for now, Bounce is the meta. So how can we beat Bounce? Well, we can do what Bounce does, right? We can get the power of Bounce with Agent Venom, Mysterio, Hitmonkey, but we can also run the Bounce answers. The Bounce answers in this case being Killmonger and Shadow King. And to a lesser extent, Red Guardian and Shang-Chi. They do a decent job as well. So fundamentally what this does is it says I can win the mirror. I have another version of Sarah that I will feature either tomorrow or Sunday that I think is equally good into that mirror matchup, but I think that this is a great way to look at handling the meta, at handling these decks. Invisible Woman Killmonger, Invisible Woman Shadow King, etc. are just absolute backbreakers for these lists. You can find Ika at twitch.tv/Ika_MTS. Please do watch Ika. You will not regret it. He's marvelously entertaining, and you can make fun of him and call him Eminem because he dyed his hair blonde. You need Agent Venom. That's the only high series card you need here, sort of, because the only replacement for Hitmonkey really is Sage, so you do need another high series card. But Hitmonkey is Series 4, and Sage is a card that was just in Spotlights. US Agent, without that card, I'd play Quake, because Quake is obviously incredibly great at stealing cubes, and it's a US Agent's power here is a card that you can play early and late, and Quake does a lot of the same things. I really like Red Guardian in this list a lot. It gives us play into Hela when we can hit that Hell Cow. But I think Beast and Juggernaut are perfectly fine replacements. Ika went 18-3 on his way to Infinite. This was his 90s rating, 82% win rate. We're looking at multiple 80% win rate in the 90s decks, and I know that's a lot of bots, but even so, that's still damn impressive. Just for the record, I know this is an aside. I am currently ranked 93. I have not had much time to play, shockingly, given my life. But I'm currently ranked 93. I've been playing the Bounce deck because I love Bounce. I've got a 69% win rate and a stupid cube rate. From 73 to 93. I played like 5 games with a Surfer list, and then I played my other testing games in Conquest just to get a feel for it. So turn 1, you pass. Turn 2, Agent Venom over Invisible Woman. You just want Agent Venom out as soon as possible. Turn 3, Bishop is more or less equal to Red Guardian. Depends what you're seeing. If you know you have a really good target, Red Guardian. If not, you Bishop. If not, Killmonger behind Invisible Woman is perfectly fine here. Turn 4, Invisible and US Agent is fine, or another 3 behind Invisible Woman. You can also drop Agent Venom and US Agent. You get the idea at this point. Turn 5, you'd really like to Sarah. Sarah is a snap condition here, and that's better than 3+2. And if you've Sarah'd, you can go Mysterio, Monkey, and Shang, which is just crazy, right? Monkey will be 2, Mysterio will be 1, that's 3, Shang will be 3. There you go. You can also play Mysterio, Monkey, Shadow King, and US Agent. Just make sure you order right and play Shadow King before you play all the other cards. That's, again, just stupid power. You just win those games, right? If you have Monkey behind Invisible Woman, which is a play that you will reasonably often make, you'll play Invisible Woman, then you'll drop Monkey, and it will get credit for all the cards you play on turn 6. That's really powerful. Just play everything. You can then go Mysterio, Shang-Chi, Shadow King, and US Agent and just be like, geez, you win. So that's it. This deck rolls Bounce. It has very few bad matchups into the meta. That hitting Killmonger, hidden Shadow King thing is really, really hard to beat. Do give it a try. I do not believe you'll regret it. All right, next up is a deck for the players that don't have the new cards, but first we're going to take a look at this, and then we're going to take a look at Agent Venom. So this is our look at this deck. It is, again, just built to counter the crap out of the meta. If you can get rid of, in that Hela matchup, that Red Guardian is extra good because sometimes they have to play their Luke, and if you can rogue that, if you can Red Guardian that, you get that matchup down. You get the Hela matchup, you get the Bounce matchup, all the meta matchups just sort of become things in your favor. The only thing you'll have trouble with really is Alioth. Everything else you rule. All right, Agent Venom. So Di Cavallo says, this is busted. A snap condition on 2 makes Bounce tier 0. The tier 0 deck, for anyone who's new here, is the deck that everything must enter and centers the whole game around. That is the highest praise possible. Di Cavallo thinks this is like the best. Jet agrees. Jet is streaming now, by the way. You need to check out Jet. Too good, but too soon to be sure. Doesn't need a 4-power body, and Bounce may be too good. Okay. Derek says this is very strong. Sizer, who hit number 1 with this, again, right after I'd written up the slideshow, with Ekmati as number 1, says great in Bounce, a snap condition, okay in Darkhawk. Ika says great floor, great ceiling, even without the effect, the body is great. You are just happy to have a 2-4. There is no other 2-4 in the game, and 2-5s all have requirements. Aoi says Agent Venom is good in bounce and other fun decks. Nethiel says really good, like really good. RS Barry says incredible in bounce and good in other decks. And Butt gets to the damn point. Going to need to be nerfed. This will be a 2-3 eventually, I think. Maybe even a 2-2. This card is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is one of the best cards in Marvel Snap right now, and a must-buy card. I don't know how much more I can have says that. My weekend review, my Monday review, my until this gets nerfed into Oblivion review, if it gets nerfed into Oblivion review, is go get this card. It's insane. Season Pass question is, I need your first impressions on Scream and Agent Venom. What have you seen of them, and what have you thought of them so far? That's how you enter to win the Season Pass. Our final deck of the day is Molwyn's Big Outplay. So, FAK Molwyn, I actually have no idea if he's still with FAK. I need to shoot him a message and ask. But Molwyn is a player who's finished in the top 5 of the Infinite Leaderboard. He stopped trying to climb for quite a few seasons, and then last season he decided to climb. With this deck, he went from about rank 250 to about rank 50. So this climbed at the highest levels of Marvel Snap, and it is a pure counterplay deck. I think it's really good and really fun. This is sort of like the Scream deck, but a sort of more consistent, smaller version, right? I could easily see this being a Scream deck by cutting Jeff, Scarlet Witch, and Cassandra Nova, and just being like, and Copycat, and being like, these are move cards, and then like this being absolutely top notch. I am going to mess with that at some point, but this list is stellar, like so freaking good. Play it. Okay, so you can find Molwyn on Twitter at twitter.com/MolwynSnaps. You need Kitty, Thena, and Gwenpool. Cassandra Nova can be Nocturne and Killmonger. In fact, unless you're seeing a bunch of arishem, you don't need Cassandra Nova. She's only good if you play her on 3, and there's things you'd rather do. Jeff can be Kate Bishop or Nightcrawler. Cool. If you're adding Killmonger, don't add Nightcrawler. Spoiler. So this went from about 150 to about 30. Turn 1, you play Kitty. Turn 2, you play Angela over Thena. Turn 2, Hope or 2+1 is better than Cassandra. Turn 4, Gwenpool. Even if you can do the double play, you don't trigger Thena because Gwenpool's that good. Turn 5, Captain Marvel, especially if you can play it with a 2. If not, with a 1 is fine. If not, a 3 plus a 2. And then turn 6 is Juggernaut and Cosmo, or Captain Marvel and a 2-drop. If you played Hope, Captain Marvel, and a 3-drop. This is one of my favorite styles of decks. I hit Infinite with a deck that's like this that ran Loki last season. It was when Loki was a 3-5. I think this list is stellar. It allows you a lot of skill expression. So if you're the kind of player who wants a lot of decisions and a lot of really great choices, this deck is great. No one ever expects Scarlet Witch anymore, and there is a fair amount of magic in the meta. So go give this a try. You will not be sad that you did. Questions of the day, and then we gonna be out of here. I don't know what name that was. Cardive wants to know why Second Dinner requires logins to buy from the shop now. And I think the reason is they got sick of people being from the Philippines who aren't from the Philippines. Things were cheaper if you bought them from the Philippines, and that became a problem for them, right? Like they were losing what amounted to a lot of money over time. I get it. I'm fine losing that because what they did is both the person, like, okay, so it doesn't ultimately matter for 90% of players, right? But how it matters to me is I gift a lot of season passes and stuff, so I'm getting credit, and the person who I buy the season pass for or buy whatever for is now getting credit in the web shop, in the whale track for that extra stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. So that like benefits me enough that I'm not super upset at ending up spending an extra like literally $10-15 a month. So okay, fair deal. Thank you, Second Dinner. It's a little annoying, but not the end of the world. Excuse me. Janksy asks what variants you can get on the collection track. So, collection track is just rare variants, 700 gold variants. No bundles, no anything else. Only 700 gold variants. Premium mystery variants can offer guarantee no pixels and offer something like a 3 in 10, around a 3 in 10 of a 1200 gold variant. There is still no way to get either old season pass variants. They remain exclusive, completely exclusive, or old bundle variants. But they did just announce a rare shop that they're planning on rotating from time to time. I believe it's called the Collector's Shop or something, where we don't know how much it's going to cost, but you can buy old bundle variants in there that are over a year old. That shop will not always be active, and it's only going to be 6 at a time, and the rare times it is. So that's not a good way, but there are very, very few ways to get old variants, particularly from bundles, and you cannot get them from anywhere but the game. But sorry, this one new shop that's coming out at the end of the month. And again, season pass variants remain to this point completely exclusive with the rare exception that the beta season pass variants were put out in like $5 bundles as a way to get people who didn't play in the beta to get them. That's it though. Those are totally exclusive. So that's it. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'm just going to quickly explain what the Patreon tiers are. The $1 tier gives you entrance into all of our tournaments. We run a bunch of tournaments in our Discord, linked in the video, linked in the description to the video. So if you'd like to participate in some Marvel Snap tournaments, including single nightly ones and long-term leagues, then patreon.com/snapjudgments at the $1 tier. We also have a deck archive of decks from all the previous videos. Outside of that, the $5 tier comes with early access to these videos and Deck Doctor. Basically, you get access to me to ask about decks whenever you want, to share decks, to talk about decks, so on. And then the $10 tier has all that stuff, plus exclusive giveaways, plus a weekly exclusive video, and these shoutouts. I'm going to go relatively quickly because it is very late at night. We recorded the podcast about the new cards this week with Docty and Red Snapper. Speaking of Docty, Docty is the king of new Marvel Snap card content, and he's on here with Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Logan of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, Notoriously, X-Force V, and Skippy G. Tommy Nikos to One Snapchat League Season 1, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Woody, Kevsy Hoda, Ludacris, Quantum Quinn, John Q, Jimmy McHugh, It's Q-Town, Clam, 8th Sage. We're going to go backwards. We changed the order. Breaking your brain. Abigail Gieslin, Mandatory Burner, regardless, David G. Wingfield, who hasn't told me what the G stands for, cold. Direwolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, check him out on YouTube and Twitch. Good Dog Gamer Inc. I am Frostman, you are. Jane Every, Corwin, who's not in Q-Town, Prime Ryan, and Ryan Burke, the Ryans. Kara Tixley, the King of Questions, Coy Ray, Black Dahlia, Pyrofros, the Goat Seeker, Den, Matt Falcon, check him out on YouTube. Archangel 3K, welcome back again. Hollowed, who just kicked it into high gear, joining this tier for the next freaking year. Wild. Thank you so much, Hollowed. I appreciate it so much. Quid Pro Joe, Mod Supreme Models, Darth Tater, No Joe K, Joe B, Steven, another one of our friends, thank you, Steven, Brian Kaufman, St. Martin, and Jason B, who's responsible for the deck archive. Thank you so much, Jason B, JT Metaldino, the Fuzzy Dollar, Spectrum X, who, Matt H, DJ Mike Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, Mr. Craig Sterry, BG, Jonesy, check out the Triple Threat on YouTube. Two Ties, my former Alliance leader and good friend. I think I have a DM from him, but I can't check it because I'm recording a video. The Great Laura Devs, the Pirate King Tuccrr, the Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Check out that bounce video right here and a YouTube video right above, below it. I don't remember which order they come in, but watch those two videos, y'all. Spend some more time with me today. I'm going to release tomorrow's video, if you're on the Patreon, a little earlier than usual on the Patreon, because I got to record it during the day, because I'm going to see Pink with my wife at night. Thanks for watching. You know I love you. Peace.